Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And it's time to break down the good, bad, and the ugly for WrestleMania 39 now that it's in the books. Very controversial with the finish and Cody losing to Roman Reigns. We're going to give you guys what we thought was good, bad, and ugly. So who wants to go first? Do you want to kick us off?
You go first with good.
I'll go first. All right. I'll go first with my first good. We'll start off positive. My good was the entrances and the entire match for Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. We walked into WrestleMania with a lot of people over the past month or 2 months or whatever having really turned a corner on the build to this Rey Mysterio, Dom Mysterio feud. We've read reports saying that that WWE, the higher-ups, are really happy with Dom's performance in particular. They did this match, but man, a shout-out for the entrances. I thought that the cinematic of Dom being in prison and, you know, him coming out and all the guards and everything, and then you transition into the paddy wagon backing up or arriving, and Dom coming out in his own sort of Rey Mysterio Halloween Havoc type mask, his gear with the Eddie Guerrero tribute, him throwing water in his sister's face. I thought everything about that was really well done, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where they're going to take this. It seems like they're going to go into Puerto Rico with maybe a tag match and Bad Bunny. I don't know, but there's so much more, dude, I think they can mine from this story. I thought they executed this stuff at WrestleMania to perfection. I thought it was a real highlight for me at WrestleMania.
It really was. There's a lot from night one to really like, and that I would say is among the highlights. Also among the highlights, in my estimation, is they got denied the main event spot, and for no fault of their own. I feel like creative let them down, but Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair went out there and put on a main event match regardless, and put on, in a lot of people's estimation, it's mine included, probably the best match of WrestleMania weekend. Just an absolutely stellar bout with a lot of emotion, a lot of intensity. It was physical. They both left it all out there, and Rhea got her moment, defeating Charlotte with a avalanche riptide.
Yeah, I don't know, man. In terms of match of the entirety of WrestleMania, it's between that and the Intercontinental Championship match. I thought both were really stellar matches. That's totally an honorable mention for the good of WrestleMania. All right, man, let's dive into the bad because everybody loves negativity, Larson. Let's dive into the bad. What's your first bad?
My bad here is, so obviously I've been more lukewarm than most on Cody, but even I can admit probably we don't know where the story is going. Probably the wrong move to not have Cody win last night. Given that he is seemingly peaking in terms of his popularity, super over. Everything about the story seemed to indicate that the bloodline would crumble at the end of WrestleMania. Even you had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn winning those tag titles. That was step one. Step two was Cody beating Roman. Didn't happen. And it's one thing for that not to even happen, but the way the finish went down, where it didn't really advance the dynamic within the bloodline a whole lot. We never had Roman addressing the Usos losing the tag titles prior to his match. You would have thought that would have been a major deal. And the only thing it really does, it maybe, is establish Solo as Roman's number one guy, his most trusted lieutenant, his enforcer, the one guy he knows no matter what he can count on.
All right.
You got to counter this.
I got to counter to this, man. You know, I obviously in the emotion of the moment,
yes,
trying to wrap my head around it. This is what I kind of dig about the finish last night. You sort of hit onto it a little bit with, and I'm not, look, I honestly don't think I'm reaching for story here because, look, you and I, we try to find the story in everything. You know, even when it was clear that Hangman and Punk was off the rails at the beginning, I remember you trying your damnedest to say, hey, Hangman is crumbling as a champion. He can't figure out, you know, he wasn't.
He has to bring the bluster because he's got his own insecurities. Yes.
Right, exactly. Right. And I appreciated that, even though it was just behind the scenes, it was a mess, right?
Yeah.
We tried to find the story and everything. This is what I liked about last night. Now that I think about it, I slept on, I took a shower, I was like, hey, you know what? That actually does kind of make sense. Cody Rhodes is a politician. What did he do? He eliminated the Usos by bringing Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens together. Mission accomplished. when you said last night he couldn't find, he didn't have a counter for Solo, that I started thinking about that. And the thing that I liked about it was he completely misfired on Solo. He tried to break Solo down. He gave him his first loss. What did that do? It gave Solo extra motivation to screw over Cody. He made it personal for Solo in the way that he felt Roman made it personal for him and screwed up. He did the wrong thing with Solo. With Solo, he should have taken a different tact. And that's not necessarily bringing somebody else in to counter Solo. He made Solo feel small and gave him that extra motivation. Roman made it personal for Cody and gave him the extra motivation to take out the Usos, but Cody committed the same sin that Roman did with him on Solo. He gave him his first loss. He said, "You're not ready?" Well, now Solo, who's been kicked out, has more motivation to come down again and be persistent. Whereas if he would maybe appealed to Solo in a different way and said, "Hey, dude, Roman's holding you back. You don't even have a match at WrestleMania because you're busy with Roman holding you back." Maybe that would have gotten Solo's head and he wouldn't have had that extra motivation to come back and do what he did. Now, I have no idea if that was the intention, but we don't deal with intention. We deal with what we see on the screen. Exactly. And so in retrospect, maybe Cody done fucked up the way Roman had done fucked up in the first place. And if Cody hadn't taken that route with Solo, maybe he would have won at WrestleMania. So after giving it some thought, maybe I'm good with the story. I don't know.
I'm happy you came around to my perspective.
Otherwise, I'm going to go fucking crazy, Larson.
Yeah, I know. You know,
it's called cope. It's called cope.
You know, you go and you look at the various reactions to loss, and it seems like it's overwhelmingly people are upset that Cody lost, and I get it. Because from a business perspective, it made it like Cody was.
I don't even know because I know you said that, man. But look, you've got Michael Jordan in his prime with Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah.
Do you hand off the torch right now, or do you keep riding that now that you've got this $21 billion Endeavor deal? And I don't like to think that business is the main driving factor, but business is going to be the main driving factor.
Yeah, it is.
You've got Michael Jordan in his prime running your squad.
Yeah.
Do you turn it over to the next guy? I don't know that you do.
Again, I was not echoing my sentiments I saw out there where people are
sure,
like, Cody's absolutely, super hot. You know, he is probably the one with the most momentum behind him as far as any of Roman's opponents. I know they've done WWE has done a good job building up Drew, Sammy.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, a lot of people were invested in the idea as minute as the possibility was of Drew beating Roman at Clash of the Castle. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
People were really getting behind Sammy.
Yeah. Right.
Winning at Elimination Chamber. This is a sentiment I saw on social media and such. And again, you know, a situation, well, he's going to lose at Elimination Chamber and not have the Mania match with the idea, probably, Cody would get the match, Cody would win. Mm-hmm. And then that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I understand people wondering, okay, with Cody, this is arguably the most popular person who's faced Roman for the title.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, by all accounts, sells a ton of merch, sells a ton of tickets. If not now, when? Mm-hmm. Do you take so much of the wind out of Cody's sails that if and when he gets another chance and wins, is it to feel kind of like a letdown because he didn't get it at arguably his peak? We don't know where the story is going. We talked about this last night. I'm happy you mentioned it here. We don't know where the story is going. This isn't me giving anybody the benefit of the doubt. You know, I just saw how things played out last night, and in my mind, it didn't feel like that was the end for Cody. And maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. But I'm not trying to give anybody the benefit of the doubt. I'm not doing the let's see how it plays out. Just based on what I saw there, it didn't seem like the end for Cody. And time will tell if that's the case or not. It's entirely possible that now that he's facing this bit of adversity, Cody has to go through everything again. And that means winning the Rumble from like number 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beating Roman in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. He has this setback, and now he has to overcome the setback and get back to the top of the mountain, and this time find the way to win.
We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. I think here's one that I don't think you're going to have much of a counter for my bad, and that's Austin Theory. This match with John Cena, number one, from Cena's point of view, I'm sorry, but it seemed phoned in from his point of view. He didn't even look like he went to the tanning bed.
Nope.
And he came down, he did his obligation. Austin Theory won with a low blow. Now, the big question, dude, is creative going to give him a character and sort of validate John Cena's point or not, or, sort of play into what Cena's thesis was, which even if you beat me, you got to come out the next night and prove to the people that they should care about you because nobody does. Are they going to give him a character? I didn't see anything in this match that would indicate to me that the character of Austin Theory is going to advance or evolve or get to a point where we do care, because nobody gave a shit when he beat John Cena. Nobody cared. Nobody thought that it was, oh my God, what a performance. Nobody cared. This was the most paint by numbers. I'm going to give you a low blow and I'm going to double down on how much nobody should care about my character. I think he still has a lot to offer. WWE Creative needs to spend some effort and time cracking this, because I just don't give a shit. Maybe if he's the next guy to step up to Roman Reigns and they make him the underdog and somehow you do a turn here. I don't know what you do with the guy. I don't think WWE knows what you do with the guy. No. I think he's got a lot to offer, but they have to crack this character, man.
Yeah. Based on what we saw yesterday during the match and the promo afterwards, it's what we thought it was going to be. His character is I beat John Cena. And the key will be, does he come out tonight on Raw and regurgitate what he said at Mania night one after the match? I made John Cena believe, now all you have to believe. That's not a convincing case for anybody to believe in him.
He's gonna say exactly that.
Yeah, I know.
He's gonna say exactly that.
He's gonna take 10 minutes to say that. I know.
Yeah,
or 5 minutes, however long the promo is going to be, and it's not going to be engaging or convincing. And I'm still given no reason why I should give a shit about him.
Yeah. You want to dive into the ugly first, or shall I?
You go ahead.
All right, man. The ugly was Shane McMahon from beginning to sad, and the sad last days of Shane McMahon's knee. Look, I don't like to see a guy get injured. I really don't. But you're setting yourself up for that when you wheel out a 50-year-old who hasn't been there in a year, a guy who gets winded coming down the ramp. He's doing his little dance. He gives us a winded promo. And then on a leapfrog, he blows his quad out. Now, here's the ugliest part of that, dude, is they wheeled out Shane McMahon instead of LA Knight, a guy who is massively over right now. He shows up at the Hall of Fame ceremony and the entire crowd notices him. He doesn't get like an entrance or something. He comes into the back from the back entrance and the entire crowd starts going, yeah, and chanting his name. And you don't give him this spot at WrestleMania. You let Bobby Lashley on the stage for 45 seconds to hoist up his Andre the Giant trophy that he just won on a SmackDown. You don't give him his moment. That was ugly to me. Instead, you wheel out Shane O'Mac. What happens? He blows out his quad. We get an amazing people's elbow. And when I say amazing, I mean ironically amazing, because it's Snoop Dogg and he's great. An improv performance from Snoop Dogg, which was awesome on his part.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And it was just, the entire thing was ugly. And you could have saved it if you brought LA Knight out. That crowd would have exploded for LA Knight, man.
Yeah, 1,000%. It was a huge misstep not having Lashley and LA Knight actively involved in WrestleMania. By that I mean have a match, whether it's against each other. One of them comes out and confronts the Miz night 2, something like that. I understand there's a portion of the crowd that will pop when they hear Shane's music. I am not amongst that portion of the crowd.
Right.
And I don't like seeing people get hurt. But as you said, he's 50 years old.
Yeah.
You run the risk of injury when you go out there and you don't do this on a full-time basis. You're not training for this on a full-time basis.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And to give that spot to Shane rather to someone who's on the main roster there every week, I would understand why Lashley is going on Twitter and liking a bunch of tweets that seemingly mirrored his own frustration.
Absolutely. What's your ugly, man? Wrap this up here with the good ugly.
Give us a good ugly. All right, ugly. Talking ugly. We're talking presentation here, aesthetics.
Okay, sure.
I'm talking the Hell in the Cell match. I think a lot of people were really excited when they announced no red Hell in the Cell.
True.
They're going back to the traditional chain link fence look. However, they decided to color code the weapons. You got red weapons in there, red chairs, red kendo sticks. You got purple weapons. Of course, for Finn, I guess, purple kendo sticks, purple chairs, a purple table even.
Was Finn allowed to use red stuff, or was he only allowed to use purple stuff?
I don't think it mattered. I think they just had color-coded weapons for some reason, and it made no sense. And you have this structure, which is supposed to bring out it's supposed to be like the most violent thing they do in WWE.
Yeah.
And then it just comes off as really cartoonish when you have a purple table and purple kendo sticks and red kendo sticks and red chairs and purple chairs.
Yeah.
It undermines the intensity of the match.
Should be a big blood feud, man.
It really should. It should
Judgment
culminate.
Day tried to kill Beth Phoenix with the concerto.
Yeah. And instead, we got this cartoonish, red kendo stick, purple kendo sticks, red chairs. It was not aesthetically a good look for the match, and it undermined the intensity of what was supposed to be going on within the cage, and really outside of Edge's entrance gear with the mirror ball mask, which is cool.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I've never really been huge on the demon thing,
right.
and especially when Daylight, when he's got those smoke things and he's trying to be all intense, and it just
You just said it there, man. Daylight. I like in our ECW review, you mentioned Daylight ECW wrestling. Daylight Hell in a Cell is ugly.
Doesn't work.
You can't do Daylight Hell in a Cell, Larson.
Doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Doesn't work. It has to be. It's hell. There's no daylight in hell. Come on now.
The only thing that's illuminating the hell in my mind is the fiery pits of hell.
Right. The River Stygian, perhaps.
Yes. Otherwise, darkness. Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to wrap our good, bad, and ugly for WrestleMania. We have our full review for both nights 1 and nights 2 available right now over at the Going in Raw podcast channel, so you can check those out. Drop us some comments. Load up our comments. Let us know what you thought was good, bad, and the ugly for WrestleMania 39 across both nights. Our reactions are up right now on this channel, so you can check those up as well. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for checking us out. Till next time, talk to you later.
Goodbye.